Let's make our confidence picks for Week 14 of the NFL schedule. And well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watsu-K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. Quick reminder, if you're brand new, welcome aboard. Please like and subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. I appreciate everybody's support. So, NFL picks, it is Thursday night as I am currently recording this. By the time you see this, the Patriots-Steelers game will be over or close to over at the very, very least. So we're going to make all our picks for all 15 games this week. We pick them from 15, the game we have the most confidence in, down to 1, the game we have the least confidence in. And remember, we don't pick against the spread. We pick winners. All right, so let's see what we did in Week 13. Didn't have a bad week. Went 9-4, 61 points. So not that bad. For the season, we are at 120 wins and 73 losses for 1,048 points. Where does that rank us overall? Well, we went up a percentage point. All right, went up to 91.6. So we are doing quite well. Ultimately, I want to get to that 95% mark where I was last season. So let's see what we have coming up in Week 14. All right, so the game I feel the most confident in, the Tennessee Titans at the Miami Dolphins on Monday night. Let's see. Tennessee has not won a game on the road this year. Miami has not lost a game at home this year. Miami all day. Let's move on. My number 14 game will be the LA Rams at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are coming off a bye and they are home. The Ravens come into this game, think about it. They're ranked in the top 10 in scoring, total offense, and rushing offense, and have the number 1 scoring defense. They are just an excellent all-around team. Now, got to give a lot of credit to the Rams. They've won 3 games in a row. Kyren Williams has become a breakout player who I still don't really think gets the attention that he should. I think he's going to help to keep the game pretty close, but the edge goes to Baltimore, assuming, of course, Lamar Jackson is good to go, which as of now, I expect him to be. Number 13, the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. I got to go with the Niners. It doesn't feel like these two teams just played each other? Well, it should, because they just did. Second time in 3 weeks. Seattle has dropped 3 in a row, struggling to hold on to a playoff spot. Now they go on the road to play a team that they just cannot beat. They've lost 4 in a row to San Francisco. And in those 4 games, the Niners have outscored Seattle by an average score of 30-14. They've outgained them 490-261. The Seattle defense is playing terribly lately, averaging about 30 points per game. Give me San Francisco at home as they march towards the number 1 seed. Number 12, the Thursday night game, Patriots and Steelers. What did we all do to deserve this? I mean, you're now watching 2 teams that are basically the equivalent of root canals when it comes to pain. Oh my gosh. Now, with the quarterback situation, if Kenny Pickett was playing this game, I'd be fully confident in Pittsburgh. With Mitchell Trubisky, I don't have much confidence really at all. But then again, I almost look at New England like I do the Jets. You have a very good defense and an offense that has not done much. Plus, they're missing Ramondre Stevenson and Demario Douglas. 2 big losses for that offense. But you got to give the Patriots defense credit. Even the Chargers scored only 6 points against them. Man, it's a tricky one, but I think Pittsburgh's got to be a little bit fired up after the way they just lost to Arizona. I think the highlight of the broadcast really will be Al Michaels making snide remarks on the broadcast. So I'm taking the Steelers. Number 11, the other Monday night game, the Green Bay Packers at the New York Giants. Green Bay's won 3 in a row. A lot of teams with 3-game streaks or more, whether it's wins, losses, it's kind of crazy. But Wink Martindale loves to blitz, play man defense. That plays right into the hands of Jordan Love. Plays very well in those situations. In fact, over the last 3 weeks, Love has thrown 8 touchdowns to no interceptions. And 2 of the teams that Green Bay beat were the Lions and the Chiefs. Plus, Aaron Jones will be back for the Packers, so I like them. The one thing I will say, Saquon Barkley will be running against the 30th ranked run defense in the league. So if the Giants are going to win, Barkley's going to have to drive the car. Number 10, speaking of cars, number 10, we got the Panthers at the Saints. Derek Carr, not expected to play as of right now, but to me, the Saints defense is just too good, especially against an inept Carolina offense. The Saints season is on the line. They lost the game to Atlanta. They never should have lost, in my mind. They could have won the game against Detroit. I think if they lose this game, Dennis Allen is not getting past Black Monday at the end of the season. I just don't think he can. Number 9, the Houston Texans at the New York Jets. If the Jets, I feel like I say this most weeks, if the Jets just had a competent offense, like ranked around 20th in the league, I think they could have won several of these games. But, because normally this would be a matchup, I think that would play towards the Jets' strengths. The pass rush, the coverage ability against a rookie quarterback, plus no Tank Dell for Houston. He's out for the season. So these other receivers for Houston are going to have to step up. I think the Jets stay in it. But again, it is the Jets' offense. Zach Wilson back under center. I just can't pick the Jets until I see them actually play offense. I'm going to keep saying the same thing until I see differently. Number 8, the Indianapolis Colts at the Cincinnati Bengals. I like Cincy. This game could still matter for a wild card spot, but I just think the Bengals have one last push. Very impressive the way they won that game against Jacksonville the other night. Gardner Minshew has been very turnover prone, and the Bengals defense tends to be very, opportunistic when it comes to taking the ball away and setting the offense up. So I'll take Cincy in that one. Number 7. With the NFC North, it's the Detroit Lions with the Chicago Bears. I'm taking the Lions, but I'm doing so pretty reluctantly. Okay? Chicago played well enough to win when these two teams played in Detroit 3 weeks ago. The weather's not expected to be too great, cold and pretty windy. I'll give you a matchup that's going to be pretty fascinating. Did you know the Bears are giving up just 79 yards per game on the ground? 79 rushing yards per game. That's tied with San Francisco for the best in the league. But Detroit has the 4th most rushing yards per game. So let's see if Detroit can run on that D. Ultimately, Detroit's offense should be able to get the one more score that they need. So I'm taking the Lions, but I'm going to say upset's possible. Number 6, the Denver Broncos at the LA Chargers of San Diego at SoFi Stadium. So the Broncos are in the middle of a 3-game road stand. Against the Texans, though, the Broncos went 0 for 11 on 3rd down and 1 of 3 in the red zone. I'm not sure about that offense right now. The Chargers need the game. I think it's very close, but I think they rebound. They take the win at home. Number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Cleveland Browns. All right, let me drop a little bit about Jacksonville here. You go back to 2018, when the kickoff temperature is below 45 degrees, the Jaguars are 1-12, and it's going to be cold this Sunday in Cleveland. Plus, we don't expect Trevor Lawrence. C.J. Beathard is also a little bit banged up with his shoulder. That Cleveland defense is allowing 260 yards per game, best in the league. The Jaguars this year have faced 2 other defenses in the top 5. They averaged 6 points per game in those 2, and that was with Trevor Lawrence. So I think Cleveland has too much for Jacksonville in this game. Number 4, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons. Somehow this game is actually relevant for the NFC South, and I guess in a few weeks we'll all find out who is the best of the worst being the NFC South. I guess I'm going to go with Atlanta, and it's really because their ability to run the ball outside, I think, is one of Tampa Bay's weaknesses. With their run defense, I'll give the slight edge to Atlanta, but by no means am I doing that with a whole lot of confidence. All right, number 3, the Eagles at the Cowboys. It's a Sunday night game that we actually will wait all day for. Winner of this game takes over first place in the NFC East. I felt Dallas was the better team in that first meeting. The Cowboys led at halftime. They outgained the Eagles by more than 100 yards. Dallas is 6-0 at home, and Dak Prescott is excellent against Philadelphia. In his last 4 games against the Birds, he's thrown 14 touchdowns to 1 interception, averaging 313 passing yards per game. I will say, it's always the intangibles. Dallas should win this game, but I'm almost worried that so many people are basically anointing the Cowboys the winner of this game. I think they should win, but I can only give it a 3-pointer. Number 2, the Bills at the Chiefs. One thing we've really learned, you have to take a hard look at where these teams are as opposed to what they should be. We've learned you cannot trust either of these teams. Both are 2-3 in their last 5. The Bills have beaten the Chiefs in Arrowhead each of the last 2 regular seasons. The Bills need it for a spot, whereas the Chiefs need it for seeding. I think it's a last possession game. I just trust the Chiefs defense more to make a play than I do the Bills defense. That's kind of where I'm feeling it, but I really hope it comes down to the last possession. And finally, my number 1 game that it's very hard to make a call for. This is a game that I'm having a little bit of trouble getting a read on, is the Vikings at the Raiders. Both teams just had their bye. You got Joshua Dobbs against Aiden O'Connell. Dobbs has 6 turnovers in the last 2 games, but Justin Jefferson will play for the first time since week 5. I think that's going to be a big help for Minnesota. Josh Jacobs, though, could have a big game on the ground. But I think what the ultimate thing will be, along with Justin Jefferson coming back, is Danielle Hunter and the Vikings pass rush generating some pressure, forcing some Aiden O'Connell mistakes. I think that's enough. I'm giving Minnesota the win on the road. All right, those are my picks. Let me see your picks. Put them right down there in the comments. Got any upset specials in mind? I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.